Sometimes the reason why you don't have everything figured out or things do not make sense is simply because it is not your time to have it figured out and you don't need to know everything. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, High Guidance, and that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, then that means it is not in line, which means it is not for you, so don't force it. As well as grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. For today's video, we're going to go over and discuss the harsh truth and the harsh reality of not always knowing everything and learning to experience life as you grow, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, some disclaimers, and just certain things to be aware of. So starting off with the introduction, starting off with the first disclaimer, you're not always going to have all the answers and all the tools and all the resources to life, and that is fine. And why is it fine? Well, because there's only 24 hours in a day and there's only so much that you can do. Worrying and stressing does not change your situation, and it doesn't speed up the time. So the second disclaimer is knowing that you're going to have to learn to accept where you currently are right now in life. You're going to have to accept the fact that you may not have everything that you want, but you will have what you need. And I'll say that again. You may not have everything that you want, but you do have what you need. And if you want to know how I know, well, because you're on YouTube right now, which means you have access to a phone, a tablet, or a computer, or some media device, as well as the internet or a service provider such as Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, or let me know if you're in any other country and let me know what service that you have. We as people have to accept the fact that in order for us to be the people who we want to be, we have to realize that we have to go through certain things. And sometimes as we're going through certain things in our life, it's not always going to make sense. Just because something doesn't make sense in the moment doesn't mean that there is not a purpose or it doesn't have a reason on why you had to go through it or experience it. So the third disclaimer is allowing yourself to live your life, allowing yourself to learn, whether you're learning as you grow or you're learning because you do have resources, you do have finances, you do have education, you do have support in community, you do have access to whatever it is that you need. Comparing yourself to people and places and things who don't live the same life as you, who don't have the same opportunities as you, is not going to help you. Listening to people who do not do the things you do or who have done the things that you've witnessed or experienced when they have negative things to say doesn't make you less of a person or doesn't mean that it's true. You as a person are going to be held accountable for yourself. And if you do not have people to pour into you or you've never been taught and shown certain things, it will come a point in your life and in your journey where you will figure it out for yourself. Now, if you believe in God, ancestors, and universe, it's really important that you build a relationship with that. And if you don't, that's fine. You build a relationship with yourself. I'm not here to force religion or spirituality. But what has helped me along my healing journey was to accept that the reason why I didn't have certain resources or certain tools or certain knowledge in certain chapters and certain moments in my life was simply because I was where I needed to be and I didn't need to know everything until I got to the next moment. And that's the best way to look at your life. You have to understand that you're going to go through things. And because this is your first time in this reality living as you may not know everything. You're not less of a person because you have to figure out things by yourself. You're not less of a person because you don't have all the money or all the education or access to certain realities. No. What you're meant to have, you will have. And what you don't have, there's a reason. You have to go through life to understand why. And because you don't know how long you're going to live for, you have to learn to be grateful and appreciative of your life and of reality. So when it comes to recommendations, when you don't always have everything figured out, is to be grateful and to identify what you do have control over, what you can focus on, what you know that is in your control. When you worry about things that are out of your control, it stresses you out. It makes you feel anxious, it makes you feel overwhelmed, and that can lead to physical issues. Your mental health is connected to your physical health. and your emotional health and your psychological health and your finances, just your being as a whole. When we worry about things that we cannot change, it causes us to doubt ourselves. It causes us to have insecurities. It causes us to be stressed. You don't need to continue to be stressed and overwhelmed once you realize what you have and how it can help you better yourself. You have to realize there's only 24 hours in a day. Trying to overwork yourself is not going to help you. It's going to burn you out. And then when you burn yourself out, you're not going to have the energy or the time to do the things that you want to do. It is okay to be patient in life. It is okay to take time, because a lot of times if things are not working out how you want them to, you do have to learn how to be patient. And that's the second recommendation. Learning to be still, learning to be present is a skill. This doesn't mean that you don't emotionally want what you want or you don't feel any type of way, and that I'm telling you to invalidate your experience or what it is that you want. But sometimes in life, because we don't have everything figured out, we have to learn how to be patient. We have to learn how to wait. Once again, why we're having to wait, that's between you and your higher self. And for those of you who believe in the God, ancestors, universe, you don't know all the time. And anybody in life who makes it seem like they know everything all the time, every single day, that's for them. That's not even for you to worry or focus on. But it's like, you don't need to have everything figured out when you don't even know why you're going through what you're going through. And a lot of times, what I will tell you from experience, and let me know how this resonates with you, we get certain information and certain resources when we are mature, when we're equipped and we're prepared. You cannot elevate and become the best version of yourself if you don't have the identity and if you don't have the mindset or you don't have the discipline to make the necessary changes. You see a lot of people who live certain realities had to do a lot of things that we don't know anything about. And that's gonna be the fourth recommendation. You have to stop comparing yourself and your life to other people. Yes, some people in this world are more privileged than others. We don't know what they did to become privileged. Yes, there are some people in this world who are more or less fortunate than others. We don't know what they had to do to survive and how they live their life and what they witnessed or what they've gone through. You don't have to compare your life or compare yourself to other people once you realize that your life is for you, and that if people and places and things cannot contribute, they're not pouring into you financially, emotionally, psychologically, or however, they don't need to be a part of your journey. And you have to be okay with removing them. If people are not able to pour into you or to educate you and motivate you, you don't need them around you. It's so important that as you're going through certain chapters in your life, as you're going through certain lessons, you realize how these situations are shaping your reality, as well as how they're either distracting and limiting your existence, your time, or how they're allowing you to elevate and evolve. If people cannot help you, you can help them, but you don't need to hold it over their heads. Not everybody in the world is going to have the same resources and the same reality and the same tools or think the same. Learn to teach other people. Learn to be teachable. So for example, on this account, we talk about mental health, we talk about healing, we talk about positivity, we talk about confidence. I speak from my experience, what has helped me along my healing journey, as well as other people of all different walks of life. As a Afro-Indigenous woman, what it's like being melanated, a person of color, my reality, everyone's reality is not the same. It's really important that also that you learn to accept where you are. Because once you accept where you are and you're able to evaluate where you were and you understand and you learn from your past, in the present moment, you will realize why you are where you are. But when it's time for you to move forward and it's time for you to change, you'll start to get the information. But a lot of times we don't have the resources and all the answers because we're meant to learn as we grow. And I'm speaking from experience. There have been moments in my life where I've gone through certain chapters and I've gone through certain resources, and I had to go through it every single day. Like, I could not skip certain processes. And this is why all of this disclaimers and all the recommendations are important, because if I were to compare my life to anybody else's, I would probably be miserable. I would probably hate my life. I would probably feel like, oh, nobody loves me. And that's not how I want to live my life. Do I always understand everything that I'm going through? No. And that's okay. You know why? Because what I've learned is that in those moments, there was a huge lesson that I was meant to overcome and learn. And that may be your experience. Sometimes it's not our time to go through certain chapters. It's not our time to experience certain lessons. Nothing in life is going to be permanent. So if you're having to go through a season and it seems longer, there's a reason why. But eventually, it will come to pass. You are not physically going to live forever. And a lot of times, if I'm being honest with you, when I was able to identify and I did get the resources and I did get the tools, like I've stated, it was simply because there was something extremely valuable and life-changing that I was supposed to learn. And that's the same thing when it comes to you. I'm telling you from experience, like, because if you knew everything, you would be doing better. If you knew better, you would do better. If you are meant to experience certain opportunities, you would. Because we see people all the time do the things that they want to do. But once again, we don't know what they did to get to where they are. So it's really important that you learn to appreciate your journey. You're continuing to be intentional with your time. You're removing anything that no longer serves you, no longer resonates with you. You're focusing on what you're focusing on, and you're releasing any control or any fear or any doubt that is not going to affect you, or that has been affecting you. So whatever questions, comments, and concerns that you have, let me know. I'm going to end off the video. I don't want to make this too much longer. But if you're interested in a service in a session, make sure you click the link down in the description box below. Follow me on all my social media platforms. All the information is down in the description box below once again. And if you're interested in a service in a session, click the description down below. I feel like I said that 3 times. But if you want me to talk about this in real time, drop the word live. And on my Instagram and on TikTok, I'll address it. But you are loved. I love you. You're not alone. Thanks for watching. Until next time, peace.